My name is Luke Reyvn, so it's Luke space Reyvn. So it's not spelled like Raven, it's Reyvn.
On the note of your name, I read it real quick in the interview, and I thought at a quick glance it said Luke Reyvn, and the Canadian part of my brain started firing up. I was like, "Yeah, Luke fucking Reyvn, buddy, he's fucking Reyvn it."
Bro, that's so funny. So many people think it's Luke Reyvn.
All right, this week on the Punks on Pizza podcast, it is a pleasure to have Jersey-born but Hawaiian-raised musician with experience in multiple genres. A true pleasure to bring with me, Luke Reyvn. Sir, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really good. Appreciate you having me on. And yeah, I'm excited. Glad to be here.
All right, now, firstly, you just said you're at your parents' house in Hawaii. That's got to be great to be back home after.
Yes, bro, absolutely. So, for anyone who doesn't know, I was born in Jersey, grew up in Hawaii, and this past New Year, so like 5 months ago, whatever, I moved out to LA to further, pursue my music career, and I've been out there for the last couple months doing my thing. And yeah, right now I actually came back to surprise my mom for her birthday. So I flew back a little bit earlier. I was planning on coming this summer for sure for a week or two, but I wanted to surprise my mom, and my grandfather actually just flew in today. So little family reunion, a little vacation. It's been good. As you can see, yeah, there's lots of sun coming through. It's super hot here right now. But yeah, man, feels good to be here. Still working, but we're in Hawaii doing our thing.
Nice, man. That's awesome. Well, you know what? We'll barrel through this then, because I don't want to keep you from your family. That sounds like an awesome time.
Yeah, no worries, brother.
All right, now I try to take these chronologically. So I wanted to ask you, when you moved out of Jersey at the age of 11, I was just wondering, before then in Jersey, were there any concerts you went to that were like crucial moments that pushed the idea that you wanted to become a musician?
Honestly, dude, I don't think not that I can remember. I don't think I went to any conventional concerts in the sense that you're talking on the East Coast. And I've talked about this a bit before, but it wasn't necessarily music that was like my first dream. I knew I wanted to be like an entertainer, but when I was younger, I was really into like theater and musical theater. So like my first like dream to grow up would be like an actor, if that makes, you know what I'm saying? Like I knew I wanted to be an entertainer, and I loved movies, and I loved just being on stage and performing. And so I always, when I was younger, I wanted to be, I'm going to be a famous Hollywood actor. But it was the musical theater, which is where I got my kind of first experience performing live and kind of learning a little bit about music and, the production behind music and, just being in front of a crowd in general. So that's kind of where it all started. But yeah, man, in general, I haven't been to many concerts at all. Actually. And then, obviously moving out to Hawaii, there's not a lot of artists come out here and do big shows. There's been a few over the years, but yeah, specifically on the island I'm on, hasn't been a lot of selection as far as like big shows go. There's like local artists that do their thing here, which is awesome, but nobody that, your viewers or listeners might know.
Well, on the note of local artists, tell me about Forming Breathless and Orgies in Spain.
Oh my God. Okay. So that's so funny. Yeah. So once after I moved to Hawaii, I did homeschooling for a couple years, and I met some kids through like a homeschooling group I was doing who ended up, being good friends with mine throughout high school. And yeah, we started a little band because at the time I had been playing guitar for a few years, and I had a buddy who just moved here from Maryland who started playing the bass. So we kind of started doing that together. And then we had another friend that played drums, and yeah, and then we found out one of our other buddies that I knew through one of those friends. He was in the singing and stuff, so we're just like, yeah, let's do it, man. Like I feel like everybody goes to this, let's start a band, whatever. And I've always been kind of like a scene kid. Like I always like, even though I was living in Hawaii, I was always like wearing like ripped jeans and wearing like skater Vans everywhere and jackets. And even when it was it's way too hot for me to be wearing this right now, but this is just like what I feel comfortable in. And I'm a big like punk rock, classic rock, modern hard rock, grunge like fan. Like I grew up on all that stuff. So that's kind of where I got into the guitar anyways. And at that point I was still like a little like shy about singing because I was like, I don't know, I felt more comfortable hiding behind the guitar, but also guitars are fucking awesome. But yeah, we that's how we started Breathless, which was the name of our first band. And then we ended up kind of like splitting up, but not fully. Like we changed drummers and then changed singer at one point. And somehow we ended up with OIS, which stood for Orgies in Spain. You know, at this point we're in middle school. We haven't even hit high school yet, so there were no orgies. There was no going to Spain, but we thought that shit was so funny, and we were running with it. But yeah, man, that was also, you know, kind of another reason I just fell in love with making music and performing music, because that was like my kind of first taste in really building a song. And we did, you know, started to write some of original stuff. We did mostly covers, but that's kind of also another place where it really started, you know, for me. And then yeah, I did some different stuff throughout high school. Definitely, you know, kept up with the guitar. And then I also sang a lot in my school's like choir and chorus. So I've always been like involved in music, but hasn't been recently. It's been the last couple of years that I've really like dove deep into like becoming an artist and making original music and trying to sell records, and you know. So yeah, here we are.
During those days, what were some of the covers that you were playing?
Oh my God, let me see if I can remember. I know used to do a lot of Black Sabbath songs. We did like Iron Man and what's the one? Warheads. Is that what was that?
War Pigs?
War Pigs. Yes. What am I? Oh my God. Yes, that was the song. We used to do that one every time. We did some like like Jimmy Eat World type of stuff, like Blink-182, Sum 41, like covers, like, you know, kind of simpler punk stuff. And then we do some, throw in there like a little bit of like a hard rock metal cover. Like we all loved Metallica and stuff, and doing some of that stuff. You know, at the time, like I really grew up on like Zeppelin and like Pink Floyd and like Guns N' Roses, but you know, we didn't like have the like skill yet to like play a full Zeppelin song properly. So you know, we were listening to all that stuff, but you know, we were trying to do songs that, you know, we could kind of fake it and still kind of sound good. But yeah, a lot of old like early 2000s punk stuff, you know, some older stuff too, a little bit of like new metal, rock, metal-ish stuff. But yeah, I mean, we were all just into that type of stuff at the time, and it was a blast. I mean, I still listen to that same shit that I listened in middle school to this day. Like I got the same playlist I've had for like the last 10 years.
Now, you said you were like real young when you were doing this. What did the quote unquote scene look like when you were that young? Were there venues that had all ages shows?
I mean, dude, on the island that I grew up on, I'm on right now, which is Kauai. I mean, people are like, obviously people really love music here. Like it's super common to go on the beach and see people with guitars and just kind of jamming out. And people play a lot of ukulele here. And but I think for us, the issue I've always had growing up here was just that people aren't into like the scene music per se, as far as like what I consider that, like, you know, grunge stuff, or I guess they call it like emo and whatever. At the time they used to call it, you know, they called it gothic, but now it's like emo, but whatever. Yeah, there wasn't much of that. It was a lot of like reggae, really popular here. Hip hop has become really popular in the more recent years. A lot of like more like traditional like Hawaiian influence stuff. So yeah, you know, and people are super kind here. Like our whole thing is like spread aloha, spread love, you know, and especially if you live here and you've been growing up here, like people will show you a lot of kindness. So yeah, we got a few local shows. We used to, you know, there's a couple like strips in our town that do like these art walks / like little like performance nights things that we would go up and just do like little street performances. And yeah, I mean, we got some stuff, there's nothing like really like venues per se. It was like literally like on the street, like just trying to get anybody to listen to us, if that, you know what I'm saying?
Is there any content from those days that you have?
You know, I could probably, there's definitely videos, there's definitely some pictures. I'd have to dig through like old Snapchat memories, go deep into my iCloud. My mom and dad might have some stuff too, but there's definitely stuff there.
That's stuff I would be interested in personally. Like I used to book shows, and I remember just some of the like minor bands that had to be in and out early. They had some of the biggest heart out of anybody that showed up. It's really
Yeah, I mean, we tried our best to go hard. I mean, we just, none of us had even been playing that long, so like our skill wasn't really like there yet. But yeah, man, we loved it. It was like I still love it, obviously, but yeah, we tried our best. Kind of had to fake it a little bit, miss some notes, but just kept going on. You know what I'm saying?
No, you were just saying how the hip hop scene was kind of starting to get bigger. Tell me about the transition through the college days during the SoundCloud hip hop demos.
Yeah, dude. So basically, after middle school, and then I've always like listened to that type of music, but and I also did. I grew up on a lot of like my mom. She grew up in South Jersey. My dad's from Massachusetts, so my dad's definitely was the bigger rock influence for me. But my mom always grew up like really enjoyed like kind of the OG hip hop guys, especially like the East Coast guys that were like kind of getting big at the time when she was in high school. And so I grew up on a lot of that stuff. I mean, my mom used to drive me around in the car like blasting Eminem to help me go to sleep. So it's like I've always had like a really deep appreciation for hip hop. And yeah, like I said, I always loved singing and performing live, but you know how it is when you're a young man in high school and it's like everybody's telling you how you got to act, dress, do this, do that to get girls, whatever it is, seem cool. And so it's like, not unless you're like in a Disney fucking movie, most of the cool guys aren't the dudes in leather jackets in high school trying to sing songs with their guitar. I mean, so I think a little bit of like self-consciousness and just, not feeling fully comfortable in my own skin yet, like I feel like most high schoolers are. I kind of started to drift a little bit away from um the kind of like my kind of like rock roots, and not even drift away. Like I still listen to it, but you start playing a lot of hip hop because you go to the parties and everybody wants to listen to hip hop, and all the girls you hang out with listen to hip hop, and so I definitely like kind of dove deep into that because of that, and definitely still have a fucking deep. I listen to a lot of hip hop still. Um, and yeah, and at that point, early like 2016 through like 2019, the SoundCloud rap scene was just like going crazy. I mean, a lot of these guys now are considered A-list celebrities, and, but back then a couple of years ago, we were finding their first tracks on, X and Ski and even Lil Pump and Smoke Perp, Trippie Redd, Uzi Vert. I mean, these guys blew up in like a matter of 2-3 years, and now are like some of the biggest A-list celebrities in the world. But so me and all my friends, we've got really into that stuff, and of course like the Little Peep and stuff like that too, and a lot of that like kind of grungier sound mixed with the more modern trap hip hop sound. And yeah, when I graduated high school, I went to my first year of college. One of my good friends, one of my actual best friend to this day, actually from high school, who I ended up rooming with my first year of college, got a little recording set up. And at this point, I've been playing guitar for a while. Done a lot of like singing, but not like solo stuff, if that makes sense. Like I never like released my own music. I never like done like a solo artist performance. Like I'd always been with other people or singing background vocals, or whatever. So, but we were in college and we were kind of in that like fuck it stage of our life. Like we're just gonna try shit because why not? You know. And so yeah, we got the recording set up, downloaded a little DAW, some software, and we would just pull tight beats off of YouTube, just throw them on to we used something that was called Studio 14, which I still use sometimes to this day, which is just like a DAW that my friend got for free somehow. But yeah, we just throw the beat on there, record some vocals. We had no idea how to mix or master anything, but we were just having fun. And at first it was kind of like a joke a little bit, and we had always me and all my buddies kind of grew up like freestyling on the back of the bus and just kind of fucking around with that type of stuff. And but yeah, dude, I mean, I never really liked school that much and kind of struggled through high school for a plethora of reasons, and then faced very similar challenges in college. And for me, I ended up just kind of avoiding any of the academic stuff, but I just started getting absolutely obsessed with writing music, producing music, learning how to mix. I would just spend hours and stay up all night watching YouTube videos, how to mix videos, how to sound like this, how to reverb, delay, you know what I'm saying? Like just learning anything I could. I had no traditional training in any of this. And I was going to school for like business stuff. So it was like, I wasn't like learning music there either. And besides like the very basic music theory I knew from singing in the choir and playing guitar, you know, obviously the digital side of it's so different. So yeah, I really just like got so obsessed with that. Started making songs with me and my buddies, did some songs by myself. We would just throw them on SoundCloud, and you know, some of our friends would listen to them. In retrospect to now, I mean, I think they sound pretty terrible, but at the time, you know, I felt pretty good about it. I was like, oh my God, like I wrote and now I got a song, and you throw some auto tune on there and you feel good about yourself. So that's, yeah, that's kind of how it started as far as, you know, making my own music goes. And then at the end of that first year of college, I just, you know, I was not doing well, and I was just like kind of in a really bad place mentally. And I just decided, I was like, you know, I need to at least take a gap year and just kind of get my shit together, figure out if this is something I really want to pursue. And which I should have done, in the first place, but I'm kind of thankful I didn't, because I don't even know if I would have found this love for music in the way that I have, at least. And yeah, man, I went home, and thankfully my parents are so incredible. They've always been so supportive of like all like the kind of more creative stuff that I've always been into. Because I was never really like a sporty kid. Like I was always just into, you know, video games and anime and music and drawing and, you know, whatever. But they were always super supportive of that and encouraged me to kind of express that creative side. So when I got home from college, they were like, you know, listen, Luke, we're not surprised that academically you didn't love it. And they were like, but you know, you got two options now. You're growing, you know, you're at this point, I'm like 18, 19, gonna be 20 soon. And you know, my parents don't necessarily want me just living in their house smoking weed in the basement all day. So they're like, hey, listen, either you go get a full-time job, you know, just working in the kitchen, working in a restaurant, whatever, or you know, we'll give you this 1 year, like kind of like a little bit of freedom to figure out like what you want to do with your life. You start a business, find your passion, whatever, like try new things. And for me, it was just like, it wasn't even a thought. I was like, oh my God, like I want to try this music thing. I was like, you know, when I was younger, like I said, was talking about middle school, like it was my dream to be a rock star. Even younger than that, I wanted to be an actor. And now here I am back to the music thing. And I'm like, you know, and I didn't know if I wanted to be a rapper, a singer, pop artist, like whatever at this point, but I just knew I loved music, and it just always been such a big proponent of my life. And yeah, once I was really started like focusing on that, I was like, wow, this might be a career path. It just, you know, really changed everything for me. And yeah, dude, I've just been working my ass off, and I've been pretty much self-taught with everything I've done in the music. I mean, basically taught myself to play the guitar when I was younger. I taught myself how to sing. I taught myself how to mix and produce, and just, you know, through a lot of dedication, I was able to get some decent songs together. I started another band, which ended up not working out, but we had a couple pretty cool songs that kind of took off in Hawaii over here. And I kind of used that as leverage to kind of start my solo career, which is where I'm at, Luke Reyvn now. Yeah, and somewhere, dude, I don't even know, somewhere in there from making the rap stuff and SoundCloud demos, I just started singing. I was like, wait, like this is it. Like all of a sudden I felt like confident, like I'm gonna make the music that I fucking fell in love with when I was 12 years old. And yeah, man, I started doing a lot of rock stuff. Got some other buddies that could play instruments as well. We would record some stuff in my basement, you know. In a very weird way, it's like I like very much drifted away from that middle school kid, but then it came 100% full circle. Next thing you know, I'm back in the basement with my friends, recording, you know, guitar licks and recording vocals. And instead of playing guitar, now I'm the one screaming the vocals and kind of coming up with the vision. But yeah, dude, it's been such an incredible process. And you know, I've been working on this shit literally every day for the last 3 years, and it's you know, obviously it's led me to this awesome conversation with you, and hopefully it will lead me to a lot of incredible experiences in the future as well.
Yeah, hey, I hope so, man. I hope so. Actually,
Appreciate
I
it.
want to talk to you about your jump from like home to LA. And I was just wondering, like, what steps did you make to set yourself up before moving? Like, if, for example, if somebody had the same dream as you and wanted to leave town, head to LA, what tips would you give them for success to set up a team behind the scenes for yourself?
Well, dude, 100%. That's a great question. I think the first thing I gotta say is that obviously hard work is without a doubt. I mean, I basically, I've said this on every interview I've done, and it's like, you know, because everybody kind of asks a similar question. And the reality of the situation is there's just millions of people who are putting in their 100% to make it as an artist. And my kind of theory with the whole thing has just been like, it's like, dude, it's like, if I even put in less than 110%, 150%, somebody else is going to put it in, and they're going to pass me, and they're going to get to the spot that I'm trying to get to. If you know what I'm saying. Not that it's a competition. We're all different. We all have a different sound. But at the end of the day, the music industry is incredible. It's very saturated. And you gotta obviously put in that work and then find what makes you special and unique, and then just run with it. And I think for me, obviously too, like I hate to say it, but sometimes it's just showing up at the right place at the right time, a little bit of luck, and then a lot of fucking hard work. For me, like I said, I had that band which I was in before I went to Luke Reyvn, and we ended up doing a song with an artist out in LA, which was my kind of first trip over to LA before I moved out there. We went to go shoot a music video with this artist we were working with. And that's actually how I ended up meeting my manager, who's currently repping me. Yeah, I mean, it just kind of worked out. I went out for the first time. Did some really good networking, and that's also what I like to tell people too. It's like, I know a lot of artists. I've met a lot of artists, and personally know a lot of artists who are very like, they're trying to put on this image and be this like hard badass guy or whatever they're trying to be, and they, the ego thing gets out of control. But I'm telling you, man, like I've always just tried to be as genuine and kind to everyone as possible. And, I've really felt like establishing trustworthy and like honest relationships with the people I work with has helped me so exponentially, because it's like, at the end of the day, especially when you're a small indie artist, it's like, you need a lot of support from other people who are sometimes in higher positions than you are. And it's like, I guess at some point you can pay anyone to do anything, but it goes a lot farther when they actually want to see you succeed and want to help you because they believe in you and like you as a person. So it's like, yeah, I mean, obviously don't be afraid to be yourself, and, show love to those who have showed love to you, work hard. And, for me, I was never very organized, but sometimes in life, you just got to get your ducks in a row and kind of start knocking down goals, start small, get big. And for me, LA was definitely a bigger goal in the sense. So the previous to the last 6 months, I'd spent like basically a whole year like prepping for that move at the end of the year. I knew I wanted to do it. I knew I had to get out there to sign with the proper management company, label, whatever it was, and get the sessions I needed, work with the artists I needed to work with. And while Hawaii's been incredible and a lot of incredible people have helped me out here, everybody told me like, hey, listen, Luke, you got to get out of here. You got to go find that opportunity that's just not here. Especially for the music I've been making, like I said earlier. So yeah, man, I mean, I just kind of put my head down, and like I said, also thankfully, I know a lot of people don't have this, so it's like hard for me to speak on this. But my parents and family have been so supportive, and I know. So I have friends who also are in the music, and their parents have not been supportive at all, and that makes it obviously a lot more difficult. Because your family's supposed to be your rock, so it's like when they're telling you like you're never gonna make it, you're never gonna do it, it's like I know that can be hard, but honestly too, I mean, I've always been the type that was just like, if I believed in myself and I thought this about myself, it didn't really matter what other people thought. You know, whatever it was. So when I just started like kind of transforming into this artist and kind of creating this Luke Reyvn brand, and I just really was like, all right, like, and like I was saying about the 150% thing, it's like either I just absolutely live this and become this, or I waste a year and don't and end up working that job I didn't want to work anyways. So it's like it's kind of a no-brainer for me. And that's kind of my advice to everyone. It's just like, it's so cliche, but you just gotta you gotta put everything into it. Like you almost, especially as an artist, you gotta become it. Like, and obviously I've always been kind of like an outspoken, like extroverted person. So like, I'm not necessarily like uncomfortable with like being out there, but dude, I mean, especially as a young man coming out of high school, it's like, it's not easy to be vulnerable publicly, and kind of goes against everything society tells you to be. And especially me, I've talked so much about like my own mental health and issues with addiction, and issues with girls and relationships and whatever. And so it's like, it's hard to do, but it's also very freeing and very healing, and allowed me to grow as a person. And once you kind of break that shell, and you decide like this is what you want, you start to put in that work, it'll start to come to you. You know what I mean? I'm not like super superstitious either, but I feel like if you got true intention, you put that right energy out there, and then you fall through with that, like maybe something, God, the universe, whatever, will give something a little bit back. And kind of feel like that's been the case for me. So I feel very blessed.
Wow, that's awesome, man.
Thank you, man.
Now, when I was speaking with your publicist, like arranging this interview, he was
Mhm.
talking about how you look forward to like pushing your art towards helping with mental health and substance abuse in youth that are stuck in such situations. I was just curious about moving to LA, like the big bad city. When you got there at all, did you run into that sleazy trench coat type, I can get you anything you want type character?
Oh, I mean, listen, dude, like there's a lot of characters like that there and here and everywhere. So it's like, honestly, for me, it's like as fucked up as this sounds, I kind of got involved in some like fucked up shit since I was like kind of on a younger side. Started drinking and smoking from very young, and that was moved to kind of hard drugs and partying a lot, and just doing really stupid stuff, a lot of unsafe stuff, which I don't even want to talk about on here or promote in any way. But I feel like people can get the gist. And especially, I grew up. Hawaii is incredible, and the island I grew up as an incredible place, but definitely a very like small town. Like everybody knows everybody, and everybody kind of gets a little bit of this thing where when they're in high school or they graduate, and if they don't go to college, it's like you do start to feel a little bit trapped, and there's only so much to do here. It's like if you're not a surfer, and there's like certain like island activities that you don't personally like love to do, it starts to become very like kind of feels like you just don't know what to do with yourself except just work and make money just to survive. And the rent's honestly super expensive out here too, so it's like kind of a double-edged sword. So for me, it was like honestly, by the time I went to LA, I wasn't even like thinking about that aspect because I was like, I had already put myself through so much bullshit that more than like most kids my age had gone through, and had so many very intense, traumatizing, dangerous, and scary experiences that you know at that point when I was like getting ready to move to LA, I had already spent the last 2 years just like fighting those demons and getting cleaned up and getting sober, and go talking to therapists and just doing everything I could to you know be able to be the person I am today, be that Luke Reyvn character that I told you I like felt like I had to become. And while obviously I do in a sense preach and speak on the facts of mental health and addiction and stuff, it's like you know I don't necessarily want to still be there, if that, what I'm saying. Like I'm talking about it in the sense that I hope this helps you get past it, not because I think this is something that's like cool. Like,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I unfortunately I feel like there's a lot of artists that in a weird way romanticize mental illness and use it as this like relatability tool. And it's like, and they kind of mask it with this, oh, I'm a mental health advocate, whatever.
Mhm.
And it's like, that doesn't really feel right to me. And because I just feel like I just know personally, I mean, it's like once you're in that loop, that dark place, the bad cycle, especially when you're talking about mixing depression with alcohol and drugs, which never goes anywhere, except a couple really bad scenarios, which like I said, I don't even want to talk about. But it's so hard to get out of that. And I was, like I said, I was also very fortunate to have some people around me that really loved me. And without them, I don't know if I really would even be sitting here with you today. I would say probably not. But yeah, man, for me, it just felt like such a no-brainer that when I started like opening up more with the music, I was like, like this has been the biggest challenge in my life, was dealing with my own brain and my own impulses and my own disabilities and illnesses, whatever. And I was just like, this is like, I feel like I have to talk about this because I know there's so many people, young kids, young girls, young boys going through shit in their life at this age. And we live in such a fucked up world now where it's like you're exposed to so much fucked up shit from a young age. And kids are in middle school now smoking weed and vaping and drinking from super young ages. And it's like so many kids, man, are just on such a dark path, even younger than I was. And I just felt like this kind of moral obligation to just, I don't even call it spreading awareness, it's just being open about what that really leads to. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I've written so many songs that aren't like, like they're self-deprecating, but they're also like, it's like almost like a message. It's like, hey, like I've been here, like I've almost died, like this has almost happened, like I've lost relationships, lost opportunities that I could have had because of these addiction, because of I didn't take care of myself mentally. So I just I really wanted to just do my part in a sense that, I feel like it's such a big prevalent issue today, and especially with suicide rates being at an all-time high, drug addiction, drug overdoses being at such an all-time high, more than they've been in the last 100 years. I mean, it's like it was just like a no-brainer for me. I was like, I've been through this shit. I got to talk about it. And even though I fucking my whole thing since the beginning has been like, even if I helped one damn kid somewhere, it would have been all been worth it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just kind of how I see it. And yeah, I mean, it brings me to tears when people DM me and comment on my stuff and like, hey man, like going through a rough time, like this has really helped me. Like you're so like, I can feel your vulnerability. I can feel how raw this is, and really helping me through this tough time in my life. And like that's really what I'm doing this whole thing for. I mean, I'd love to be successful and make a full-time career out of this, but like I said, my true passion has always been to be an entertainer. And I feel like, obviously comedian, make people happy, make people laugh. Actors, sometimes they make people happy, sometimes they make people sad. Same thing as a musician. It's like, I'm trying to invoke certain emotions in you. It's kind of my job as an entertainer, as an artist. So, yeah, man, I just wanted to do whatever I could to kind of bring that to life with my music, and hopefully encourage and inspire other kids that might be going through my same shit that I have, or people older than me, whatever, So yeah, that's kind of where that kind of came. I mean, I guess it didn't really come. It's been like years in the making, but yeah, dude, I don't know. I don't even know what else to say about it, but.
Just a quick question on that. Were you into like the straight edge movement era of punk, like the Minor Threat and Ian McKay type stuff?
A little bit. I was more into like the very like, as you could say, like mainstream punk stuff a little bit more. Like I said, I listened to a lot of Sum 41, Blink-182, Green Day, before and after they kind of blew up too. And my dad grew up on a lot of like the real punk, like the skinhead mosh pit punk guys. And so I've listened to a lot of like the Clash, the Ramones, and stuff like that too. But yeah, I really grew up on that like very like almost pop punk sound, I guess, and have definitely started listening to a lot of the new guys that are kind of bringing that sound to fruition. I'm also making a lot of music like that too. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I got really deep into like hard rock and metal for a while. So that was less than like the punk stuff, I guess you could say. Especially because I love guitar so much. So I just wanted to hear guitar solos and heavy drop D, drop C riffs, and whatever it was, but just headbanging music, whatever. But yeah, I never really got too into like the straight edge scene. Like I know what you're talking about, but like, I didn't like listen to a lot of those guys.
Talking about being such a fan of film, I was wondering, moving to LA, have you had any encounters with anybody, even just in passing, that have left you kind of starstruck?
Honestly, the only like quote unquote like celebrities I've seen or met. I mean, okay, I've seen a couple other artists in the studio that I definitely like knew who they were. I was like, oh wow, this is pretty cool. But as far as like starstruck goes, I don't think, dude, honestly, I've been working so damn hard since I got out there. Like, I mean, basically I'm inside all day, either making content or I'm in the studio all night recording music. And other than that, I mean, occasionally I'll go out to an event, and that's only because I'm like, oh, this might be a good networking, option for me. Like I'm very rarely just going out just to go out anymore. And like I said, I've had so many issues with drugs and alcohol that's like, I don't even want to give myself the option to like be in that situation again, because now I've got more on the line now than ever. So I feel like I just haven't even been out enough to like meet these people. I mean, I've met some like famous like influencers and TikTokers and stuff, but yeah, man, I'm definitely excited to like, hopefully meet some of these artists that I, really look up to and stuff, but haven't actually had the opportunity yet.
All right, you've been talking about how much you've been working. How has the music video shooting process been treating you?
Dude, I honestly, shooting music videos is probably one of the funnest parts of the job. It's extremely exhausting because you got to do these like full day shoots. Sometimes they're multiple days long, but oh my God, it's so worth it, bro. There's something so special about like obviously making a song that you love and have this vision in your head, right? Because everybody that writes and makes music, they're envisioning something. We're visual creatures, so it's like every lyric you write, it's gonna some kind of century is going to hit your brain and it's going to remind you of something, right? So you create this song, you create this vision in your head, and then to be able to like bring it to life, you know, and like see it then with the song that you wrote is like such a cool experience. So I guess my whole process with making videos was, you know, I just could get connected with a filmer and someone that I really like their style. And then I've always been super hands-on. So I'll pitch them an idea, and then they'll like let me know what parts of that idea we can make happen and what other parts we might have to adapt. Because I'm a visionary mostly. Sometimes I'm not as realistic as I probably need to be. So like I'm thinking of all this crazy shit that, one, I don't have the budget for, and two, is just like doesn't even make sense for a music video. Yeah, man, I've always been super hands-on, and fortunately I've been able to meet some incredible people in the, I guess, music video industry and world, and some really talented filmers and editors, video editors. And yeah, I'd like to say I got some pretty cool videos on my YouTube, so gotta plug that real quick. So yeah, man, but music videos are probably one of the funnest, if not the funnest part of the whole thing.
I think that leads into the next question perfectly. Tell me about your working relationship with Trevor Potter.
Oh yeah, dude, Trevor is my man. So like I said, when I first was in that band, before Luke Reyvn, I flew out to LA to film a music video with another artist who introduced me to Trevor, because Trevor was filming that video. So I actually knew who he was prior, because I've been a No Jumper fan for like since that whole SoundCloud scene started popping off, and he kind of came up. So I kind of knew that whole crew through like Instagram and stuff, and who they would tag and stuff. So meeting Trevor was super cool. And then he's such a super incredible, nice guy, very talented. You know, hit it off with him, got his contact info. And, you know, once me and my band kind of split and I was back home and I was getting ready to drop my first single as a solo artist, I was like, I thought I had a really good song. I mean, it was a really good song. It is a really good song. But I sent it to Trevor, and I was like, I don't know if he wants to do this, but it'd be awesome to film with you again. And yeah, we ended up doing my first single together as a solo artist. Shot it out in LA. It's a song called Razors. Definitely recommend checking out that video. It's an incredibly powerful and raw and kind of emotional roller coaster of a video, but it's super good, and he absolutely killed it. And then I did one or two more videos with him, I want to say, since then, which have also been just incredible. And yeah, he's a great dude. I got nothing but good things to say about him.
All right. You were saying you haven't been able to play live much because of the whole pandemic scenario. But I'm asking, as things loosen up, what does playing live look like in the future?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. So like, unfortunately, a lot of the first couple singles I dropped as Luke Reyvn were like right in the midst of the pandemic, and I even wrote a lot of them through the lockdown. Yeah, I didn't have a lot of opportunity to perform those, especially not in Hawaii, which was even more limited to begin with than LA. But yeah, I haven't really announced much yet, but I definitely got some shows coming up to start performing some of those older songs, some of my new songs. I don't want to say anything too soon because I'm not sure what venues are locked in for sure, but that's like definitely a big part of the puzzle that we haven't been able to place yet, and we're trying to put that together. I'm super excited about it. I would love to get out there, meet the fans, connect with the audience, and share what I've been building and creating. So that's, yeah, super excited for all that. And obviously there's some very historic, incredible venues in LA. So
I was thinking about there actually what you were saying about, if you just have the ability to even save one life with your message, then makes it all worth it. And how great that is, and how just within the punk scene alone, in my time, like from my teenage years and early years, there's always a pride about like how much somebody could drink or what they could do. And the pendulum has really swung back now when these same people, their health is in crisis, and all of a sudden taking upon the straight edge movement isn't so much as taking a stance, but saving people's lives. And it's starting to really get acknowledged, and it's a really cool thing I've seen.
Bro, I 100% agree, and obviously I'm not the only one doing it. And So a lot of people out there obviously really pushing the mental health and obviously the addiction and alcoholism kind of aspect that goes with that. And yeah, dude, I think yeah, like what you said is a perfect example. All these guys that push, it's like, who doesn't like listening to Motley Crue, but you see where some of those guys are at now, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Same with Guns N' Roses, and like all these guys were really rock stars. And what you think about rock stars, I mean, not only did they have the look, but they lived that life. I mean, really lived it, to the point where a lot of these guys got involved in some really fucked up stuff. And now they even talk about, they're like, God, some of that stuff I really wish I didn't do. And you know, they talk about just getting lost in that lifestyle. And like, for me, it's like, I'm already so susceptible to it. And I figured that out earlier in my life than a lot of people do. So I was like, fuck, like, I'm not going to get on here and like tell people to do the shit that's almost ended my life. It's like, that didn't make sense to me. So yeah, I think it's pretty awesome that people are more aware of it now. And there's obviously a lot of people doing it, including myself. And I think it's going to hopefully be beneficial in the long run. Obviously there's still a lot of stuff that gets promoted, which I don't think is great for young kids to hear. And like I said, that's kind of the downside to instant communication through social media, is that, you could be 12 years old, but you can listen to any song you want in the world, watch anything, get on Reddit, see things that you probably shouldn't see. I mean, whatever. But I just hope that in some way, shape, or form, I can be a positive figure for the people that listen to me. And, I still make music that people can fucking rock out to and bang to. But, I also want to make some music that, if someone needs to sit down and just hear something that they didn't hear before, then I'm also going to do that.
I'm jumping around because I'm going back on track. That one was going. Just a little side note there.
Yeah.
Now, looking towards touring, I know you said you can't say too much, but I'm curious, will you be picking the guitar back up, or are you going to be just a straight vocalist?
Yeah, bro. So that's actually something I've just like recently starting to get back into. I kind of took a little bit of hiatus the last couple of years because I was focusing so much on singing and social media and writing and kind of all that stuff. And I just now know so many people that can play guitar incredibly. So it's like I don't even really need to do it to make the music, because I got people that will help me do it, and producers that can play every instrument in the fucking world. So it's like whatever. But as far as live performances go, I would love to at least be able to get up there and play some rhythm and just fucking jam out, because I absolutely love guitar. I mean, I don't think I've ever made a song that doesn't have some guitar loop in it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, dude, hopefully I'll be able to pick it back up, and in the future people will see me up on stage fucking ripping the six string. So yeah, definitely something I want to do. And as far as touring goes too, like I said, I can't say too much, but I've mentioned a little bit, there will be a full project album. I don't know what it's going to be 100% yet at the end of the year. And hopefully post that I can start doing a little bit more of like a tour setup show thing. So yeah, I got a little bit of time to get my burn off the rust, and we'll see what I can do.
Well, I look forward to watching that as it unfolds.
Thank you, my man. It's gonna be fun.
All right. You know what? I guess on that note, that leads into this. Now, I heard about some brushes with the law. I was just asking, hope nothing too bad that prohibits you from coming up here to Canada, there.
No, thankfully not. Like I was just such a dumbass in high school. I've had thankfully like nothing too crazy that like was like I can't take back type of stuff, but definitely been some instances where I'm getting in trouble with police, or doing partying in stupid spots and whatever, and mouthing off whatever. I kind of had one really kind of scary experience, like I want to say a year and a half ago, or maybe probably 2 years now, but where I was like actually like held in like a jail cell overnight, and I had to show up to court and stuff for some pretty wild behavior that went down with me and some of my friends. But yeah, I mean, that was definitely, besides some of the other experiences I had, that was definitely a big eye opener for me. Thankfully, it kind of got worked out. And like I said, part of me not having some certain things on my record, I did a lot of stuff to kind of prove that I was making an effort to change my lifestyle. So like I said, I kind of just a little bit of AA counseling, therapy, just kind of whatever I could do to kind of, obviously there's stuff I want to do anyways, but it kind of helped in my case, to prove it out a little bit with action and not so much just words. And I was very fortunate that we're like, all right, you're a young kid, like we want to give you a chance. So yeah, man, I'll definitely be up to Canada at some point. I actually got some really close friends of mine that live in Canada from high school. So yeah, definitely I'll be up there at some point. Hopefully I'll be everywhere at some point.
Fair enough, fair enough. You said you had friends in Canada. Are there any particular spots that you want to stop?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know Canada that well. I know the Toronto music scene's pretty going crazy. The only places that I've really been, I've gone up to Whistler for like ski trips and stuff like that, because that's where one of my buddies is from. But like besides, I don't really know Canada that well. My geography is, like I said, didn't do well in school. My geography is dog shit. So I barely even know the U.S. at this point. I mean, no, I'm just joking. But yeah, I don't know enough about Canada, but once that starts becoming a possibility, I'll start figuring it out. And hopefully at that point, the fans will let me know where they want me to show up, and I'll make it happen.
All right, some cultural questions here. Jersey Shore, Hyde or Pride?
I mean, Jersey Shore is cool. I mean, I spent a lot of time there when I was growing up because my mom. I know there's a lot of like stereotypes that go with the Jersey Shore and East Coast in general. But like I said, I was pretty young, so like I didn't really even experience a lot of that, or can't even really remember it in a sense. But I got a lot of family back there, so there's definitely some pride. Like I said, I embrace everything. There's no hide for nothing.
All right, pizza, Jersey or Hawaii?
Pizza?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely the East Coast. It's not even even the Hawaiian pizza on the mainland and on the East Coast is better than out here. I mean, the Italian food in Hawaii is not where it needs to be, but we got really good fish and sushi. So
there you go. All right, old versus new, Eminem, Machine Gun Kelly.
Oh, Eminem. Like I said, no, but you understand this. Like I'm biased. I actually do really like what Machine Gun Kelly has done, and I listened to him before the switch over to the pop punk stuff. So I think he's a really cool artist, and whether you love him, hate him, I know there's a lot of people on both sides. What he is doing for the alternative rock, pop punk scene is definitely, in my case, I think was very needed for the scene to kind of be revitalized, just because it's not enough big celebrities that are pushing that anymore. It's very either hip hop or street pop, you know what I'm saying? Or I know also like the Latin music and club music super big too, but none of those really seemed like great avenues for me. So yeah, I think he's a cool guy. I'd love to meet him at some point. Yeah, but Eminem, dude, I mean, like I said, I grew up, I've been raised on Eminem. I mean, it's like I can't even compare them. You know what I'm saying?
No, Marshall Mathers LP actually was the first CD I bought. I think I would
Yeah,
have been
bro.
7 years old.
It's just different. It's just a different caliber. Like MGK hasn't even earned that level yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think he's a great artist, and I look at him more now as a rock artist than even a rapper. So it's like hard to compare them in that sense. But I mean, Eminem is quite literally might be one of the greatest hip hop artists to ever live. So it's like I mean, I don't even, it's not even a fair comparison for me. And then their little rap battle thing was funny, but come on, who are we fooling here?
All right, tell me about the decision to go the route of releasing the string of singles over an EP, or the couple singles and then the album immediately after.
Yeah, dude. So honestly, the biggest thing for me is that, like, being an indie artist, it was just like, I have such a limited budget. So it made more sense to me just to make a song that I really loved and focus all my energy onto this song, and hopefully, really get people to listen to this song. Like I said, I put so much like emotion and story and real life circumstance and experience into my music that's like, if I'm releasing a song, I really want to make sure people hear that song, hear the lyrics, get time to fall in love with it, see the music video, see the vision. So I just was just like, I want to release some singles, hopefully get people really behind what I'm pushing here, get behind the message, fall in love with hopefully the brand, the music, me as a person. Yeah, I've just been super like forthcoming and open with all my fans and audience as well. Like I literally like respond to every DM, every comment, good and bad. So it's just like my kind of whole thing, I've talked about this a lot too. It's just like I really want to kind of create a community around this. Like I've never wanted to just be famous because I wanted to be famous. It was like more about like, I just really want to like kind of create something bigger than myself, if that makes sense. And you know, so yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I got there with that. But yeah, I don't know.
All right. As far as your method for songwriting goes, where does it start? Does it start on the guitar, a beat, a pen and paper?
Actually a little bit of all those things. I think my most recently, what I do is, I mean, I definitely like, for me, it's like I do a lot of free writing anyways. Kind of like a little bit more like poetically styled. Just kind of coming up with cool rhymes and concepts. Just kind of practice writing in general because I'm like really passionate about the writing and like I write all my own music, so it's like I really want to keep that muscle in shape. So um, I normally start with just writing stuff in my notes or throughout the day if I hear a cool rhyme or even dude like I'm such like a weird like nerdy kid. Like I get inspired by the most random stuff. Like it could be like a cartoon I'm watching or you know, so obviously sometimes other music I'm hearing or just something I see visually and you know, I'll just kind of use that to build off of something and sometimes it's total nonsense, but it's just like, you know, you come up with a melody and then you kind of bring the concept in that you feel that works the best later. And a lot of times, you know, I'll just hear a beat. Like sometimes I'll be in the studio and I'll just hear an amazing beat or an instrumental. And I'll be like, oh my God, I know what I want to do. And I'll start writing. And but also, yeah, when I don't have my phone, I do a lot of handwriting stuff. I think handwriting is actually a really good way to like connect with the words and the lyrics. I don't know. There's something very weird about handwriting where it's like when you write it and you see it on paper and like you're physically doing it, it becomes very more real. And yeah,
100%.
you know, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
As opposed to typing? Yeah,
yeah, I
100%.
mean, typing is cool. You know, obviously where I'm at right now, I'm making so many songs, so it makes more sense for me to keep them saved on my phone and in the cloud, so I don't like lose stuff. But yeah, every once in a while, I'll get out my, you know, pen and paper and jot some stuff down. I've written a couple of my songs on paper, and I think it's a, you know, it's a pretty cool experience. I feel like you got to do it all a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Especially when you're developing your writing style, because everybody does it a little bit differently. Some people go in the booth and freestyle the whole thing. It's like it's just whatever works for you and makes sense for you. So yeah, I don't know. It's hard because I kind of, like I said, I just kind of go with the flow with whatever I feel like the song needs, or if it just whatever happens in the moment. Like, I'm not like stuck into a certain regiment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I hear it. I hear it. As far as I know Luke Reyvn, you have the singles out, but out of all the projects you've been involved with, are there any physical releases out there?
What do you mean, like CDs
Yeah, or
or like
seven
vinyls?
inches or anything like that? Yeah.
Dude, no, I haven't. Dude, bro, I would love to at some point maybe have like a vinyl record. I think it would be so cool. I have a bunch of vinyls and a vinyl player, a record player at my place. I mean, CDs just kind of seem like no, you know, nobody. I don't know. I mean, there's not even like a point of doing it, but no, as far as like physical copies of stuff goes, there's nothing yet. Hopefully, at some point, I'll be able to do it. It's all just been digital for now. I mean, people only stream music now on their phone, so it's like kind of, you know, makes sense to do it. But I think, yeah, I think maybe for the album, it'd be really cool to have like a vinyl version as like part of like the maybe like the merch slash whatever I do for it, you know what I'm saying? As like a cool piece, and I would love to personally own that. So
So as it stands now, I know you said the album is planned for by the end of the year at least. There's no plans for physical releases for it?
not yet. Not yet. Like we're kind of like I said, I'm really focusing on the next couple singles I'm dropping through the year, and then it's like obviously shaping the album as we go along. But nothing's like totally set in stone yet. I got a couple big releases I'm really trying to nail in the coffin before I get there. But yeah, we'll have to see what comes. I got a lot of ideas and stuff that I want to do with the album, and I think physical releases would be pretty fucking cool actually.
Have you had any idea of the kind of merch that you would want to be taken with you when you're playing?
It's a good question. I've thought about this quite a bit recently. I got a bunch of people that ask me like, oh, like, do you sell any merch, like anything with your name or brand? I was like, oh, I don't yet. I've made a couple like kind of like joke pieces with just like the I have like kind of a logo that I've built out. It's not like I mean it's on my Instagram and stuff but it's not like official. But I don't know, man. I'm like super into like style and fashion, and I've always been super into that stuff. Um, so I don't know. It's hard to say because I also have always loved wearing like tour shirts and like old band tees and stuff. But I know nowadays like merch has like a weird connotation with it. So it's like, I don't want to just like throw my name on something and just try to sell it to make money. Like whatever I do put my name or brand on, like I want to make sure it's quality and something that I would actually wear personally or whatever it is. Like I said, doesn't even have to be clothes, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure that out. It'll definitely represent me and my style and kind of what I stand for. So, you can expect it to be a little grungy, whatever. But it'll be, yeah, I'm excited. We'll see. I'm not sure yet.
Actually, I skipped over this one in the culture block. I was curious, with you moving to LA, I was wondering if you had any thoughts on the term Demi Lovato penned of California sober.
I'm actually, I don't know what you're referring to. What do you mean by that?
Oh man, okay, all right. Now Demi Lovato had said that she referred to California sober, meaning you smoke pot and still do psychedelics.
Okay. I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, I smoked marijuana for probably the last like 10, 12 years. I stopped right before I moved to LA. Um, I kind of felt like it was making me a little bit paranoid and anxious. Like when I wouldn't be, because I've just been smoking since like early high school, maybe even middle school. So it's just like, I just got so used to smoking all day, every day. And like, it gets to the point, I feel like everybody can kind of understand this. It gets to a point where it's like, you don't want to go out unless you're high. You don't want to eat unless you're high. You can't enjoy anything anymore unless you're high. And there are certain people that can do it, but I tend to get very like lazy and unproductive when I'm in that space. And then when I wouldn't be smoking, it would really heighten my anxiety and like paranoia. So it's overall just like not really healthy for especially what I'm trying to do now. And so yeah, I haven't smoked marijuana in probably like half a year now, and don't really drink that much anymore. If anything, I'll have some beers. Like that's the only thing I'll do. I just recently turned 21, so but no, like I said, I'm no hard drugs or anything like that anymore. I'm really just trying to, stay clean, stay on my shit, stay focused, stay productive, and like I said, I don't really care what other people do. I think there's lots of stuff that are good in moderation. And personally, I've never liked psychedelics. I had never had a great relationship with them. But I do know a lot of people vouch for them heavily. So I don't even have enough experience to really talk on it that much. But I do know what you're referring to. Because a lot of people are like, oh, I'm sober, meaning they don't do cocaine and drink alcohol every night. But yes, they have their dab pen with them everywhere, and dropping acid and stuff. So that's funny. I hadn't heard that. I hadn't heard people like phrase it like that before. But that's really funny.
I had heard that, and I got a kick out of it, but I was almost offended because I was like, "Isn't that Canadian sober?"
That's funny. That's actually really funny.
All right, now this is a question that I generally like to wrap up the podcast with.
Mm-hmm.
Out of all your experience playing, what is the venue with the worst bathroom that you've ever come across?
Oh man, I mean, venue, like I said, I mean, most of the venues I played were back home, and like they weren't even like really venues. So people also just like piss outside in Hawaii a lot. So I mean, I guess you can consider that pretty bad. Like, but I've definitely been to some spots in LA with some pretty scary bathrooms. I mean, I don't even know, man. I don't even know. I try to avoid like if I try to avoid like the bathrooms if I'm in a spot where I know I'm like whatever's going on in there I don't need to be involved in. You know what I'm saying?
No, nobody generally seeks them out. It's usually something that catches you by surprise.
No, yeah, definitely. I don't know. I really don't have one in particular that I can bring up. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know.
All right, man. Fair enough. It's a goofy question anyway.
I know. I wish I could answer for you. I just like I said, I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to think, but I don't know. I don't think I've played enough venues yet to like. Maybe next time we talk, I'll be able to give you a better answer on this one.
All right, keep it
Get
in
get some
mind.
experience under the belt, get some dirty bathrooms under the belt, you know what I'm saying?
Once you get on the road and get those
Yeah,
hotels going,
yes,
you know?
exactly.
All right, man, I'm gonna lay out the red carpet for you. Tell the people where they can get your stuff and how they can support you out there.
Yes, dude, absolutely. So my name is Luke Reyvn, so it's Luke space Reyvn. So it's not spelled like Raven, it's Reyvn. So Luke Reyvn is my app for everything, all social media, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and then same deal with Apple Music, Spotify, all streaming platforms. And yeah, I dropped a pretty awesome single and video about a month ago, and my next single is coming out June 10th. It's gonna have my first feature on there with an artist named Lil Zell. So I'm super excited about that. There'll be a video with that as well, all coming out June 10th. There'll be a pre-save link in my socials, so you know, hopefully people can run that up and support the drop. And yeah, I'm really excited. We've got lots of stuff planned for this year. Hopefully, album at the end of the year. And yeah, I look forward to entertaining all you guys. And I appreciate you for having me on. And yeah, I'm excited for you guys to see what I'm gonna do here.
Hey, man, no, thanks for joining. And actually, on the note of your name, I read it real quick in the interview, and I thought at a quick glance it said Luke Reyvn, and the Canadian part of my brain started firing up. I was like, yeah, Luke fucking Reyvn, buddy, he's fucking Reyvn it.
Bro, that's so funny. So many people think it's Luke Reyvn, or like some people think it's like Luke Ryan. I'm like, how did you get Ryan from that? But yeah, I get Luke Reyvn a lot. That's so funny.
All right, man.
It's kind of.
I won't
What was
keep you
that?
any
Sorry.
longer. You get to your mom's lasagna. I know it's one of your favorites.
She's making dinner right now, actually. So
All right,
you already
man.
know. You already know. Hey, man, appreciate you. Have a good one. Hopefully, we'll talk again.
Thanks a lot, eh?
Yes, sir. Peace.